Everyone, welcome back here to my channel where I play Plants too. My name is Nissa and today we are building for the Common Wombat and the Koala. So if you want to learn just a little bit about these animals and see how I built this habitat, then please keep watching. Okay guys, today are gonna be a little bit different, mainly because a part of this video will be uh not a speed build because I lost some footage of the beautification work. So the building itself, you will see me build here, of course, and I will talk a little bit about the animal. Then we will jump into another clip where I go through and explain what I actually did before the cinematic. So hopefully we'll give around everything, but I really can't promise because I clearly don't have the footage. Koala and Wombat, two animals that I grew up for the longest time believing that it was pretty much the same animal. The one's just simply a little bit bigger than the others, but it's kind of like the wallaby being the baby version of the kangaroo, then the koala is just a smaller wombat. Or the wombat a bigger koala, and that really isn't the case. Um Though keep in mind I have never seen any of these two in real life, so I think that's probably where a big part of my confusion comes from. And that's actually also why zoos around the world can help people a lot see these animals and actually kind of get to understand them and see them in a different light. I will just say that there is of course some comparisons between these two, one being that they are still marsupials, being in the Marsupialia sub, sorry, infraclass, and they are also both in the Diprotodontia order. Both of these order and class, both of these groups, of course, hold marsupials. Being the infraclass holds 347, which is all of the marsupials in the world. We have quagga, koala, Tasmanian devil, sugar glider, possums, kangaroos, numbats, and so on. We have a hell of a lot of different animals in here, and a lot of them really doesn't seem the same at all, and others, like, again, wombat, koala seems a little bit alike. Kangaroo and wallaby and quagga seems a little bit alike. Then we go into the order once again, and here we only have 147 of the 300 and something species that we had in the infra class. And here we actually still have a lot of the same animals around, and we have some again a lot of different species, from kangaroo to wombat to possum to wallaby, kangaroo, koala. So it's still really open and a lot of different species here. But from here on out, the two species we're talking about today do split up. The koala belongs in the family of the Phascolarctidae, which actually it is the only species in there. Of course, there's a few local variations of koalas, for instance, the Victorian koala and so on. So there is different variations of koala, but koala is the only species in this family, and therefore it's technically also the only animal with the genus Phascolarctos. The wombat do also kind of have its own family, being the family of Wombatidae. Being the wombat family, it only holds wombat, but because there's multiple different wombats, we have three species in this family, being the common wombat, which we are talking about here today, the northern hairy-nosed wombat, and the southern hairy-nosed wombat. The two hairy-nosed wombats do have their own genus, being the Lesiohinus, and then the common wombat have its own genus, being Wombatus, which personally I find much easier to pronounce. So at this point, it's already clear to see that these animals are clearly related. The common wombat and the koala, but they also have some really, really big differences between them. And one being that one of them is a mostly climbing animal, and one of them being a mostly walking on ground animal, being koala climbing, wombat walking. If that, if not everyone were sure about that. Therefore, I will also build this habitat in a very specific way. I will get back to that, talk more about that a little bit later when we actually talk about what I did with the foliage. But we will have a very open ground habitat because the wombat is the bulldozer of the outback. So we will have very, very open ground area where all the smaller foliage would be near trees or near fence, so it will be more protected. And the koalas will have plenty of climbable areas so they can get around. Indoor, we will also actually make multiple levels so the koalas can climb up and sleep up, which is their natural habitat more so, and the wombat down on the ground. For most of my habitat, I actually want the guests to be able to walk around and pretty much to look from every single angle. They will not be able to do that here. As you can see, we are building these walls, and that is for two reasons. I want this to give this foresty feely. Everyone knows when we are in a forest, there's not a lot of sunlight in there. It's a lot of shade, a lot of shadows in there. I want that, and I want the feeling for the guests to feel like they are peeking into the forest. They will not get that if it's just a open field, and especially because I want this space between foliage. This big massive fence will actually help with that. I also use all of this light wood, as we have talked about before, to once again give the guests this feeling that this is still a part of the same zoo where everything is light and nice, and then you look into this forest that will be much, much darker. As you, for instance, could see the fence we are, or the barrier we have placed within the habitat or in the back of the habitat, that's much, much darker. And just to give the illusion that that is a part of the forest and this out here is a part of the zoo, we make this a very big change. Both of these creatures are only native to Australian, but where the koala is spread widely in both New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, and Victoria, being on the eastern side of mainland Australia. The common wombat is more so based in the southeast part of mainland Australia, Tasmania, and some islands beneath mainland Australia. For biomes and climate zones, the koala both live within the tropical and temperate climate zones, where the wombat only live in the temperate. For biomes, we of course have the woodland and forest, which is pretty much what we built here, and that is biomes both animals have. The koalas also live on the savanna and in the riparian areas, not in the water but around the water. And for the wombat, we are also looking at as places like scrubland, rainforest, mountains, coastal, anthropogenic, and agricultural. And the two last here is where the wombat really can make a lot of issues for instance, farmers pretty much just bulldozing down the entire field. Okay, guys, and from here on out, I lost the rest of the footage. I am so sorry. Yeah, I just have one static photo of where I started the rest of the build, and nothing since then. But I, of course, need to tell you what I did. So here we go. I'm gonna try to do this as well as I can. So in here, of course, most of the building we had already standing. We have a staff room over here and a water thingy there. I took the roof off that water area to make a climbable area here for the koalas. They do not use it, but it's here, so if they want to use this, it's definitely there. We have the little staircase here with multiple ropes out here and a rope out here to the trees. I will talk about that in a minute. Then we have the downstairs area here for the wombats that they also can give a nice little sleep. I made a little door here so it just looks like the door is open. Then we have a lot of trees in here, but all of the climbable trees will be out here in Centrum. And as you can see, the koalas actually do climb in them. And I have a rope from every climbable tree to another. So we have between here where we have two climbable trees. Then we have another rope. Oh, sorry. Over here between these two trees. And here you can see the climbable rope. And then over here on the next tree we have a rope, and from the browns there we have a rope to the same tree over here, so the koalas don't have to stop in this tree. They will actually just be able to climb behind this branch so they can climb directly in. They mostly use the two trees in the middle, however, but they have the possibility of doing this, and I would love to see them climb like that in real life. I think that would be really, really fun for them. We have a few of these eucalyptus koala eating trees in the front also. As you can see, we have a lot of flowers in here. I really love these new ones from the latest pack. They are so beautiful and they just pull in so much light. As you can see, most of the area is completely bare, and that is once again because the wombat have this name of the bulldozers of the outback. They would basically find if they want from A to B, they will go there in a straight line if they can, and they don't care what they ruined on the way. So placing also foliage around the trees will protect it a fair bit. I also have a little more flowers back in the end because I think it's limited how much the wombat would walk specifically there. But I put in so many plants and foliage in the background to still make this feel like a filled forest and not a open grassland or anything like that. Of course, if I wanted this real thick forest, it would have been much more difficult because we have the animals in here that wouldn't like it, and it would be difficult to see the animals. But I think I get that forest filled that I will. I also pulled out a little bit of foliage out here in the front, but as you can see, it is fairly minimal, and we have a lot of indications. We have one of these. Keep in mind we have one down here also, so we don't need too many of them. We have the southern cassowary on the other side, and we have a few benches because it's this part of the zoo we don't really have anything. We are halfway between the platypus or the quagga, where we have a dining area, and half between the fortress. So it would be nice with some benches here at the halfway mark. I also pulled the fence in here to just cover a little bit of that staff path in here so it isn't that visible, and we have the trash cans in here as well, of course. But as you can see, even though we are only having 4 viewpoints, you can see most of the habitat from in there. And I will just mention the roof of here is the same as I used for the little blue penguin and the um, Malayan tapir, Asian small-clawed otter, and Asian blue quill over there. So it will be the same feeling. I think I also changed the color a little bit to fit better, but it is beautiful. It's really hard to work with because it won't just go flat on a surface. It will have this angle, so you have to mingle it around. I actually used, I think, at least 15 minutes on that alone. The building here is roughly finished at that point, but some things will change when we get around to the next habitats. Anyway, we're gonna jump to the cinematics, and I will be back afterwards. Okay, guys, that's pretty much what I got for you today. I'm sorry I didn't have more. But as always, guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.